Oh, do you have some like oompa music for this? Do we have any?
We can look it up.
Polka music?
Yeah.
Oh, you just turned me down.
Yeah, don't do
Why'd
that.
you turn me down?
I didn't turn you down.
No,
I got nothing. Yeah.
It's the
Oh,
chord.
you leaned on the cord. There we go. Okay.
You breathed on it. Inspired by the adventures of our nurses, therapists, and techs, A Beer with Atlas is the only healthcare traveling, craft beer drinking podcast. Each week, we'll open a few beers, talk about the brewery and the style of beer, and then dive into some research curated specifically for each episode. In the end, we hope each one sounds like a conversation you'd have with your friends while enjoying a few cold ones.
Welcome to another episode of A Beer with Atlas. I'm Rich.
I'm Brian.
And it's Oktoberfest, boys.
Man.
Yeah.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
You don't remember when Dolan used to do this?
He did, yeah.
Throwing it back.
Slurped I'm going to do that today.
All right, so we're
Okay.
starting Oktoberfest right. I hope we're starting it right. I had not seen this Oktoberfest in stores before. I was in our local Hy-Vee, and I walked by a big old display, a big old pallet of this. From Surly Brewing Company, we have their Oktoberfest, traditional, malty, festive.
It is just a tad sweet. I love it. What a great taste.
Yeah, yeah.
The color's nice. Biscuity looking. The foam is pretty good.
Oh, that is good. It is a little sweeter than...
Some of them, right? Mm-hmm. That was Dolan. He didn't introduce himself, but that was Dolan.
Why are you drinking out of a highball glass over there? Is that the best you
Because
got?
all my beer glasses are dirty.
No, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so Surly Brewing Company, I'm surprised we haven't done them. I mean, I'm surprised after 200 episodes. We've never done Furious. We've never done Darkness. We've never... Like, these guys have been around for a minute.
Yeah.
And we've never, ever done one of their beers, so...
That surprises
I-
me.
I've
Yeah.
seen pictures of the brewery. It's like huge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Surly Brewing Company, 520 Malcolm Ave Southeast, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Closed on Monday, Tuesday through Friday, 3 to 9, Saturday, 11 to 11, Sunday, noon to 8. Right on their website, it says, brew remarkable beer, be independent, give a damn.
That seems strange to me. I mean, these guys are big.
Big, huge.
I'm surprised that they're closed on any days. You know?
Yeah. Especially, are they brewing at that location?
They must be.
Generally, you're closed on Monday so you can brew, right? I mean, I always assumed that was the case.
I just figured it was, probably some brewing, but also a lot of those mom and poppers need a day off, you know? Mm-hmm. Can't work 7 days a week. So I don't know, maybe. I would think they would just have, like, shifts and crews of brewing beer all the time.
You would think
like
so.
Willy Wonka.
Well, they've had their struggles along the way with, the workers trying to unionize and nonsense like that. Well, nonsense. I mean, I guess it depends on where you fall on that scale, but it was not an appropriate time maybe.
Yeah.
During all of that. So I don't know. Political commentary aside, this is a damn good beer.
Tettinger hops, which I'm not real familiar with. It's not something that we usually see in like IPAs.
One more time.
Tettinger, T-E-T-T.
Tettinger.
Okay.
Here's the malt bill. There's 5 different malts in this beer, which is why it's malty. Pilsner, Munich, Vienna. That sounds about right.
Yep.
Carafoam, and acidulated, ACIDULATED.
What is that?
Just another malt, I guess. Some sort.
a certain-
Interesting.
Yeah, so they're all 5 of those in there, all mixed together, and you get this tasty thing.
Would you say the first 3 are probably standard for an Oktoberfest?
I would guess so. Maybe not the Pilsner malt, but yeah.
I seem to remember that though from last year.
Munich and Vienna for sure.
That the Pilsner malt was used maybe in one of them,
it could be.
and I can't remember which one.
That was a year ago. That was a lot of beers ago for me.
It was. That's true.
But by the end of this Oktoberfest, we'll have it down. You mentioned Surly Gives a Damn.
Yeah,
That's a charity that they run.
it's actually called Gives a Damn.
Surly Gives a Damn, SGAD. Nice. On their website. So they give to a lot of outdoorsy things. We've seen that with some breweries around. They're into the wilderness and nature up there in Minnesota. So
Nice.
a lot of the stuff that they do and fundraisers that they do go to local charities up in that area to keep things fresh and clean. And,
Nice.
and they do care about it enough to put it right on their website.
Seems like a very Colorado thing, but I guess... you
Yeah,
know.
I think we've talked about that with a Colorado brewery before, maybe, or Montana, something outdoorsy.
Minnesota is... what's their state slogan? Like, land of 10,000 lakes or something?
Yes.
Is that right? That's
Yeah.
Minnesota, right?
I mean, it's true, though, too. Like, the last time I was in Minnesota, we just kind of took this trip up to Duluth. So we drove through the whole state. And we were, hey, look, my Jimmy John's is here.
Get your sandwich.
Yeah.
You're going to need that.
Uh-huh. We were asking, you know, where's good fishing at? Where's good fishing at? And they were all like, well, Superior, but, you know, there's this lake, this lake, this lake, this lake, and this lake. And I'm like, all in this area? Yeah.
They just said, over there.
Over there.
Just drop your pole in. Drop your line.
Here we go. Land of 10,000 lakes. I was right.
Huh.
I thought it was, that's a mosquito? Because they have some big mosquitoes up there.
It's also the bread and butter state.
Seems weird, but
What
okay.
that's about. It's odd.
This place on 9/10. So almost when this episode comes out, or very close.
Yep.
They have a art fair going on at this brewery. It's called the Jackalope Art Fair, which I think of jackalopes as Western.
Yeah.
Not Minnesota-y, but, you know, whatever.
A rabbit with horns, or with antlers,
Yep.
I guess.
Usually it's like, like antelope antlers. Hence the elope part.
Oh, gotcha.
And a jackrabbit. But
I've seen them alive. They're hunting in packs. I've seen that.
You gotta watch out.
It'll
Saw
happen.
one when I was snipe hunting one time.
Yep.
It's a free event. It's a Saturday, Sunday. You can go in there, and they have all local artists buying and selling things and making stuff and doing commissions.
Nice.
They have another thing that they had on their calendar of events was the house that beer built.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, what's that thing here we have? Houses for Humanity, or is that
Habitat?
There you go.
Yeah.
It's like something like that, but the brewery is sponsoring this house that's being built. And you can volunteer your time or service or whatever and show up and help build a house.
You get like discounts off your beer.
I'm sure you
after
get
the
something.
end of the day or
yeah,
something.
I'm sure you get
They got to
something.
roll some kegs out, like, for the workers, like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, right?
I would hope it's the end of the day. 'Cause at the beginning of the day, the nails won't be straight.
Not
That's
quite
for sure.
45-degree angles there on those walls.
And then the other thing I wanted to touch on quickly was the music. Because they have a venue.
Yep.
And they have shows. Like, I've seen a couple places around that do this. This one's on my radar, I think, because I've been there. And it's close enough that I keep tabs on who's showing up. But in the next couple of weeks, Tenacious D is playing a show there.
What? It's
Sold
early?
out. Yeah, it's on September 19th. It's already sold out. Death Cab for Cutie's playing there with Low. That's the opener. And then there's this new up-and-coming country-ish guy named Zach Bryan who puts a song out about every day. And he's playing a show there, and I'm sure that will sell out as well. So
I'm sure.
Just 3 quick shows on their rosters. These aren't... I'm sure they have local stuff too, but these are like national touring bands you might want to see. They just, show up and play at the brewery. So pretty cool.
But this brewery's, like, huge. Like, there's second floor and...
Yes. Yeah. They have a huge courtyard outdoor area, patio. They have the upstairs part. They have amazing pizza. They have this when you walked in, it was like almost fire from what I remember, like in the wall. Like just to kind of like light your way and walk into the ambiance sort of thing.
Yeah.
Wow. They had huge merchandise, like a whole store in the brewery.
Right.
Like more than, just a rack with some t-shirts on it. This was like like someone worked in this store specifically to sell these things.
Right.
That's cool.
It's a lot of fun. And they had all sorts of stuff, like you could get, a sour beer from 2018 on tap.
Wow.
Like just crazy stuff, or they would go get it from the cellar if you wanted to buy it. You could ask for whatever and they would go check. And like, I've never seen that anywhere before. Food was really good when I went there. The outside atmosphere, I'm guessing you only get to use it maybe 2 months a year. I don't know. Is it cold? I think so.
Minnesota. I don't know.
I mean, I'd assume, but do they care?
They're
That's
just
another
tougher, I
question.
guess.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, especially this
can-
time of year.
The weather and the mosquitoes, that'd be my
Right.
2 things
Yeah.
to keep away from. But if you got a chance to go to this place, definitely do it.
I wrote that.
No,
Yeah, and this is only the first one we recorded today. I wrote that down. So December 2014, they opened the Brooklyn Center Tap Room. So that's this tap room here, 50,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Includes a brew house, beer hall, beer garden, company store, pizza restaurant, and concert venue.
Dang,
Wow.
I hit them all.
All of them. All of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So here's perspective. Our office here in Omaha, okay, is 18,000 square feet.
Oh, so 3 of those almost.
Almost 3. Yeah, and that's
And
surly.
that's the entire brewery.
That's
not just the brewing
everything.
side.
No,
it's
it's
everything.
That's
Okay.
everything. Yeah.
All that stuff.
Still,
But it's kind of-
50,000 square feet is
That's huge.
They had those cool doors, those like slider doors that you can open up so
Yeah.
that you open to the outside. They're big, like garage door glass looking things.
Yeah.
They had those all over, so they had them open a lot of times. So the indoors is outdoors, and you just kind of walk in and come and go and as you want to do. And it was a blast.
I wonder how many people they have to have on staff just a
Dude,
day.
it was a ton.
a ton.
I bet.
It was like
right?
every other table had a server
Right.
specifically for them.
Right.
Wow.
There was one. It was a news broadcast that I watched about them. Now it happened around the time, and we'll talk about this later. 2020, because of the pandemic, they had to close the beer garden and that type of thing, like everybody else, right? It has since reopened, and but over 100, they had to lay off over 100 workers because it's just layoffs because they closed that part down because of the pandemic. So
Yeah. That's a lot.
unfortunately. So who knows? Maybe now it sounds like they're back to full capacity.
As far as I understand,
So
yeah.
they've hired them all back. I
I'm
assume.
guessing they wouldn't be doing big shows if they couldn't
no
have the staff, you know.
Right.
What do you got?
I got founded.
Okay.
This is an interesting story. Founded in 2000 and early 2000s. Okay. By the son of immigrants. So Omar Ansari, 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 is the son of 2 immigrants, Nick and Dorita, D-O-R-I-T,
Dorit? Something like that? Sure.
Dorit.
Dorit.
Yeah. Didn't say nationality. I just know they were immigrants.
Yeah.
Dorit, maybe. In December 2005, Omar, with the help and the blessings of his wife, Becca, and his parents, started brewing in a portion of their family factory. So it was, and I can't remember what they produced there. Anyway, it didn't take long, and they converted the entire factory then to the brewery after that.
This is what we're doing now.
Wow.
It took them, though, until 2011 to pour their first beer at the brewery. Did you know this story? They had to change a state law. So they had,
yeah.
because of prohibition, there was a 78-year-old law there that prohibited breweries in Minnesota from selling beer, selling like glasses of beer, pints of beer at their location. They could produce it, they could sell it at bars, and they could sell it, and they could package it and do everything else, but they couldn't sell it at the brewery itself. So with the use of social media, in particular Facebook, so like 2011, early days of Facebook, they all got together and called the representatives, and they one of the senators, Linda Scheid, wrote a bill and got that law changed.
Wow.
So
You used to not even be able to buy beer there, like to take out, like in cans. You had to go to they would tell you like what good bottle shop to go to or whatever.
Yeah, they couldn't sell
'Cause
it
You
there.
could go there, only drink, or vice versa. Like you couldn't take packaged out, and the laws were weird.
Yep.
Okay, first off, that's a really cool story. Have you ever tried to call a senator?
No,
It doesn't work.
I'm sure.
Well,
Yeah,
You
so
just leave a message.
Yeah, well, or
Yeah.
they're out of office.
Of
right?
course.
Yeah,
Of course
no,
they are.
but that's cool that happened.
Yeah, state senator now. To be fair,
Right,
I mean,
right.
but still, I mean, I can still
Yeah.
see like that would be very, very difficult. Unfortunately, Senator Linda Scheid, who championed this bill and really helped them get it passed, died 2 months after it was signed.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so ovarian cancer, unfortunately. So she didn't get to celebrate, but I mean, they credit her a lot with with this bill passing.
Yeah.
I mean, that changed everything in that state.
Absolutely,
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow. here's some of the other beers I wrote down off their website. Some that I would like to try. Some of the things I just thought were cool. One was called Shutter Shades. So you know the sunglasses that they look like blinds across them.
Yeah.
That was one of their DDH double IPAs. That was not even a seasonal, but limited. So it was like less, available than even a seasonal beer. The year-round one I wrote down was Controlled Chaos, which is their West Coast IPA. Has a can kind of similar to this, but it was yellow and black.
Oh.
And then it says Controlled on the front. And then we used to know this beer as Todd the Axeman. Yeah. And now it's just straight Axeman. And that's a pretty, at least what I remember, chewy IPA.
What happened to Todd? So Todd Hogg, H-A-U-G, was him and Omar at first. Like they were the first two that started or whatever, but now there's a new brewmaster. Todd goes someplace else?
I think so. Aaron Daly, I think, told me this one time, but I don't. He went someplace else up in that area and took his recipes with him, I think. And
interesting.
So now he's, I think, doing something somewhere else. But
so it's just the Axeman now.
Yes. Buffalo Skull Baltic Porter. That's not a style you see too often. And then, of course, you mentioned it earlier, Surly Darkness. Now, this is my obvious favorite Surly beer because of the strong ABV. It's the barrel-aged stout.
13, 14%?
Yeah,
probably?
I think it's around there. They have what they call Darkness Day. So it's the release day. There's a couple of breweries around the United States that have this sort of event. Like I know, the one in Indiana.
Three Floyds.
Yes, they have a similar sort of thing. They have a thing where you can pre-order the beer now. So I looked on their website last night. They have something that's called the collector tier.
Oh.
So you get 2 bombers for $40.
Okay.
Which is good.
So kind of like a membership type.
Yep.
Okay.
And this is one for now and one for the cellar. That's how they propose it. Or 2 now or whatever. Then they had one that was called Tee It Up, which is the same amount of beers, but you get the Darkness, Return of Darkness t-shirt. It's like a special year.
Nice.
Sort of every year is a different design. And then they had one that was called Gluttony and Sloth. Now, this is where I would go. Because you get those 2 beers and you get the shirt, but then you also get 3 crowlers of beer that they've brewed just for this release day as well.
Really? So it's predetermined what those crowlers are.
They don't tell you what, they tell you what style, but they're not telling you what it is. So this year, it's a fruited sour, a hazy IPA, and then this one, I guess I'm supposed to know, maybe, or people that live there would know. It just says, the return of a wet hopped beer. Maybe you remember it. And it was a question mark. So I don't know what that beer is. I scrolled through a whole bunch to try to figure it out. And I don't know. I couldn't find it out. But that was like another incentive. Getting those crowlers would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right? To roll in there and get your whole order. I mean, it wouldn't take maybe 2 trips to the car, but...
And it's only redeemable once?
It's that day. You go by and pick it up at that thing. Okay. Yeah. And then like the bottles will get here, usually. Sometimes it's very limited amount. And then every year I think is a little different what they do for the barrel. It's never an adjunct. It's never like, marshmallows and vanilla cream. It's like straight up Russian Imperial Stout.
Yeah.
Which is why it's one of my favorites, because you don't get that diabetes hit like you do sometimes, which is, also was good, but
diabetes.
I like it just starts like real strong and dark. So they had really awesome merchandise. Like if you didn't know it was a brewery, you wouldn't even know these were brewery shirts, if that makes sense.
Oh, the Darkness logo is.
They had button-up shirts that were cool, like almost like a what you'd wear to the office back in the day before a t-shirt, like a button-up work shirt. And they had some really cool t-shirts. If you know what this S is, that's kind of on everything on their stuff.
Just the S.
A lot of it, yeah.
Interesting.
It looks like a lot of their stuff looks like Carhartt.
Oh,
yeah.
They made an apron that was kick-ass. I've never seen a branded apron before.
That's cool.
They had a baby bib.
Nice.
So, both things protect your clothes.
Yep.
Their hats were sweet. They had, I guess it's probably because it's Minnesota. They had like 5 different stocking hat designs and ball caps and just about anything you want. They have it there for sale. And one of the fun things about that place is you literally can pick it up at the store in the place.
Right.
You're not just ordering it offline. So
How big is it compared to? Because you've been to Boulevard there in Kansas City, and is it the same size? Because Boulevard's enormous.
I would say Boulevard's bigger in size.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
But merchandise, this place has them for sure.
Nice.
But on the flip side of that, at least a couple of years ago, Boulevard rented out space down in the plaza and had their own shop.
Oh,
Like
did they?
around, yeah,
I
like
didn't
in
know
the
that.
fall, like before Christmas, so you could go and buy all your Boulevard, not beer, but just stuff,
Swag.
shirts and socks,
Hats
and
and you name
koozies
it.
and hats and
Yep.
anything branded. And then they had kind of some display stuff set up and things, but I don't know, I've never seen that before, but so I don't know if they still do that, but I think that was one way that they got more people in. You didn't have to go to the brewery to buy the brewery stuff.
I always find it interesting when a brewery will tell you, like when I read the story of how it started, right, or the founder, and that type of thing. Generally, it's home brewing, that type of thing. But they tell you the first beer that they ever made.
Oh.
So could you guess the first beer that they ever made? Like the style of it, because I think the style is just, it's fun. Like this one's fun, but just in general, like sometimes they start with something weird. And
If it's Minnesota, I'm gonna go with either a wheat or like a porter
I would guess
or just a straight lager. I don't know.
ESB bitter or the abrasive. That's what I would say.
you're close. I mean, you're both close. Oatmeal brown ale.
Oh,
So about that same, so cold brown,
Yeah.
brown ale, oatmeal, like, and a
Depends on when they open too. Maybe
Yeah.
it was in the winter
True.
time.
yeah.
Then their second beer though was Furious,
There
was
you
their
go.
IPA. So, I mean, and that
That's a pretty standard one.
they
That's
actually.
a like a brown ale to IPA.
Sure, yeah.
I mean,
I thought
yeah.
this was fun. This is their words on their website. Aggressively hopped IPA.
It is that.
Aggressively.
It's old school for sure, and it's tall boy cans, which is nice.
Yep.
If you like those extra 4 ounces, which I do.
Yeah.
Yep, I think that was the first Surly beers I had was the Tallboy cans. Like I said, I was saying before we turned on the recording here, it was a red can and a green can. They were Tallboys, and I was 19 years old.
Oh,
We don't encourage underage drinking, but
you found those somewhere.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I see.
This was
dumpster.
This was college days. Yeah.
There you go.
That'll happen. I
Makes
guess.
sense. So here, 2020, they had to, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, and I included this because of their response afterwards. 2020, they had to close their beer hall and beer garden indefinitely because of the pandemic. But on March 31st of 2021, they had a great post on Instagram that said, "Thanks to the remarkable progress being made on the vaccination front in Minnesota, the Surly Beer Hall and Beer Garden will reopen in June." So, I mean,
So it's been a year now.
without getting too political, I mean, vaccines work. That's just science.
Yeah.
And so we can get back to doing the normal shit that we want to do.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get past this and get back to it. And it was unfortunate they had to close for a while, but then because of vaccines, because people were smart, most people,
Yeah.
some people were smart, right? And they did what they had to do in order to stop the spread. Then
You get to have Surly open again.
So so there you go. So there's my science political commentary for the day.
I just noticed on the can, here's that S. This is what's on like almost everything of their branding stuff.
It's like a wider, curvier version of the S that we all drew when we were younger.
Stussy S? Is that what it's from?
Where you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here's the extra credit research for today.
Sweet.
I thought, oh man, what are we going to talk about? I don't know. I've gone through everything I can think of for Oktoberfest, but the concert venue piqued my interest.
Oh.
And I thought, all right, let's get into it here. Let's talk about Minnesota and music. Because for a state that doesn't have, it's not Hollywood, it's not New York,
Yeah.
they got a shit ton of good music that have come out of Minnesota. Like more
Really?
than it should. Something's going on there.
There's something in the water.
In the Twin Cities,
Lake
mostly,
Minnetonka.
probably? Or where?
Maybe, yeah,
Oh.
I think you're right.
But mostly those Twin Cities, but just in Minnesota in general. So we're going to go through a list of these.
Okay.
And just throw out whatever you want about it. But The first one, this guy's fairly popular. His name is Bob Dylan.
Never heard of him.
Exactly.
You might know him as Robert Zimmerman. That's what his name was when he was in Minnesota. Then there's this band called the Jayhawks.
I haven't heard of those guys
Never
either.
heard of them.
I don't think I know anybody who likes them either.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find somebody, I'm sure. She's kind of was an actress and also a singer. Her name was Judy Garland. She's from Minnesota.
Really?
Prince.
Prince was from Minnesota.
I mean, I know the symbol, but I don't know.
Yeah, he was the artist formerly known as Prince.
That's right.
Maybe that's how some people know him. But yeah, Prince was from there.
Yeah.
And if you're going to talk about Prince, we might as well talk about these other guys I have on here. Let me find his name. Morris Day.
Oh, gosh.
Morris Day. Now, he was sued after Prince died.
Morris Day was?
Yes, he can't use the time anymore.
What?
Yeah, so they took that away, so now he's just straight up Morris Day.
That's some bullshit.
But that band, they had some hits too, and they got to be in a couple movies with Prince, and they were kind of the house band for a while. He went through a lot of musicians, but they did a lot of time there at the Paisley Park or
Paisley
whatever it's
Park,
called.
yeah.
So let's get a little rocky with it. How about Soul Asylum?
Yep.
Soul Asylum. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a name I haven't heard in a minute.
Or how about this one? Semisonic.
That's probably
Closing time?
Yeah, Closing Time was their big song.
It's
You know-
closing time.
You know,
That's
that wasn't
right.
about closing time at a bar.
Huh?
It was about breaking up with a girl.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Yep.
But it sounds like it was about a bar.
It does. Listen, but if you listen, I heard this on XM radio, and if you listen to the lyrics and you listen to it from a breakup standpoint. Yep. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Give up your whiskey and beer or something like that, wasn't it?
Finish.
Finish. There you go.
Whiskey or beer.
Let's see. Let's jump around a little. How about something from the 1940s? The Andrews Sisters.
Oh yeah.
They were very popular with like the Bing Crosby crowd. They did a
Okay.
lot of World War II stuff, so they were like over visiting the troops and singing and doing that sort of thing.
Yep.
Big Christmas music, folks. So if you listen to the classic Christmas channel on the XM, you might find them.
Look at him dip into beer number 2
I
here.
think it's
Oktoberfest
Oktoberfest in here.
Wait a minute. This show's called A Beer with Atlas.
Well, it's the same beer.
We have a singular beer.
It's just different amount. That's all. How about some grunge rock? Babes in Toyland. Remember that name?
Uh-huh.
Toilet.
They were almost hair metal, right? I mean,
was
weren't
close.
they? I mean, it was right on the fringe.
They were kind of like Hole before Hole.
Yeah, true.
Was it like during the transition from hair metal
Yeah,
to
I'd
kind
say
of.
they were probably in the late
It's like a
80s
little bit of
founded,
both.
I would guess.
There's a couple of
Yes.
bands like that I find interesting.
Speaking of hair metal, how about Vixen?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
They were from Minnesota.
Yeah, Vixen.
Vixen, Vixen. Vixen.
Living on the Edge of a Broken Heart.
I think that was, yeah. Here, this one's for the kids.
Okay.
Lizzo.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
she's from Minnesota.
Yeah, Minneapolis area.
Yeah.
There is something in the water up
I'm
there.
telling you, I'm not
Wow.
even close to being done, y'all.
Y'all.
Husker Du. You ever heard of them? Or
Husker Du, man. Husker Du. God,
With
I used
Bob
to
Mould and-
skateboard to those guys.
Maybe you skateboarded to the Replacements.
Absolutely.
They were from Minnesota.
We've talked about them on the show
Yes, we
a
have.
couple times, maybe.
Yes.
Here's one I remember. Now, this is not a band most people would know, but this is a band called The Jets. And they had 2 big hits in the 80s. And it was like, they were a brother and sister group, but they had like 8 siblings in the thing.
It's before Benny joined them.
It was after Benny left, and they
After
were just
Benny
The
left.
Jets.
Oh.
Good call.
I remember roller skating to some of the Jets songs.
I want to say I remember. Yeah.
You got it all over him, honey. It's true. There's just you.
Ah.
You must have been heaven sent. Hearing me call you went out on a limb,
That's the Jets.
and you're all that I got.
What's the name of that song?
Just look what I got. You got it all over him. There you go.
See, that's it. right
That's
there.
it.
You got it all over him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Over him.
Like
yeah.
you spilled it on
Over
him
him.
or something. I don't
Maybe it
know.
was a beer.
Maybe.
Marcy Playground.
Yep.
Sex
Yeah,
and
Sex and Candy.
that's so sexy. There's a really good funk version that what is her name? Monica, or you know who I'm talking about?
No.
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 The funk cover band that's all over YouTube, all over social media right now.
No.
They did a funk version of this song, "Sex and Candy."
Nice.
Maroon 5 has a passable version as well.
Oh.
Just so you know.
Lead singer Fox.
Oh, Monica Martin.
Monica Martin. She
No
does
kidding.
a version of a funk version of the song, and it is literally better than the original, in my opinion.
She's good.
Yeah.
Like her.
Remember, we had the beer not too long ago. The that came from the lyrics of Sex and Candy. Marcy's Brilliant. The Disco Lemonade.
Oh.
Speaking of disco, how about Lips Inc. INC? Take Me to Funky Town.
Oh, yeah.
That was their big hit.
Yep.
They were a lot of producers at the time, which I guess makes sense because there's a lot of music there. Motion City Soundtrack.
Yes.
That's Dave Grohl?
No.
No, I'm thinking of Sound City. No,
Yeah.
I was thinking of Sound
These
City.
guys were like early 2000s, kind of pop punky.
Yep.
Okay.
They're playing a show in Omaha in like a week.
You may not like them. A little too Blink-182-ish, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, heard of them?
Jimmy Jam sounds familiar.
They were like producers in the 80s. Their main thing was Janet Jackson. And I think one of these guys was like secretly married to her for like 15 and 20 years or something like that. Yeah. So there's that.
All right.
Sonvolt.
Sunvolt.
Yes, right? We're like those guys.
Sunvolt was around the same time that I got introduced to the Jayhawks and
Hey, we found a person who likes the Jayhawks.
Oh,
There we go.
Hey.
Yeah. Thanks, Travis Powers.
And then what else we got? Oh, Eddie Cochran. He's famous for one song in the, I think it was late 50s.
Not Tom Cochran?
No, not Life is a Highway Guy. Was that him?
Eddie, yeah, that's him. Yes. Eddie Cochran.
He did Summertime Blues. There ain't no cure for the summertime blues. That big old fat Gretsch guitar sound.
Nice.
So he's that guy. Then we've got a little hip hop for the end. Brother Ali.
Nope.
And then Atmosphere. We talked about him.
Dude,
Yeah.
just last week.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
I think
Last
it was.
week.
Sometime.
I can't remember, yeah.
Whenever that song, whenever we did the blueberry beer.
Stars on the Ceiling.
Stealing
Yep.
Oceans.
Stealing Oceans.
That's the one. So this is where he's from, Minneapolis, that rapper's from. And then the very last one I have on here, he's not real famous, but somebody that I found out about a long time ago, and I've liked him. And he's weird and unhinged, and he played a lot of shows in Lincoln and Omaha. His name is Harmar Superstar.
Oh,
Harmar
Yeah.
Superstar.
never heard of him.
He's friends with, I bet you Jeff here, our recruiter.
Tafoya.
I bet he knows this guy.
Oh, I'm sure.
interesting.
Like, I bet he knows him.
He has a lot of
His
connections.
name's Sean. The real artist name is Sean.
Okay. Yeah.
But he has a bunch of different styles of music that he's done up there, and he's kind of like, I don't know, he's been in like every kind of band and genre in Minneapolis area, and he just does that. And I think he's a mailman now too. Has a mailman job. Yeah.
He's got like a route he has to go on every day.
And then he's got to get to the, what is that, First Avenue?
Electric Avenue?
Rock Down 2, Electric Avenue. What's the name of the club in Minneapolis?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, God.
Don't know.
This is where all these guys played. I've been there. I have a picture in front of it. It has a wall with a bunch of black stars painted on the wall.
Nope.
I'm going to say First Avenue.
Okay.
Final answer.
There you go.
Okay.
That's where you play if you're in, that's where you, these people would show up. That's where you'd
Oh.
go see these, well, except for, Judy Garland.
Can we talk about Morse Day a little bit?
Yeah, sure. He had a great mustache.
Oh my gosh.
It's like
That
one of
dude-
those pencil mustaches.
Prolific, man. That guy was in. He was in everything back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Back in during that time frame. Outside of his connection with Prince, he had Morse Day in the Time.
Yep. He
He
was in some movies, I
He was
think.
in
Yeah.
multiple movies.
Yeah.
He was Jason Mewes in
Oh.
the Kevin Smith movies. It's his favorite band, Morse Day in the Time.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just saw something that he's thinking of unleashing Tusk 2.
Oh God. Oh my goodness.
So there you go. There's some
Well, I mean,
Kevin Smith for you.
Clerks 3 is coming out.
Yeah. I mean, he's made a sequel to everything almost
Why
so
not?
far. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Is that everybody? Trampled by Turtles. I don't know if I mentioned them or not, but I've seen them probably 6 or 7 times.
We've talked about them
Trampled by Turtles.
a
Yeah.
few times.
So great.
Yeah.
I love a show from them.
Remember the Pachyderm Studios episode that we
Yep.
did? Didn't we talk about Trampled by
Yep.
Turtles in that
Yep.
one? That's what I thought.
Dave Simonette is
Good
his
memory.
name
Yeah.
from that group.
That Pachyderm Studios has come up a number of times since, and that's not too far, right? From
I think it was in Wisconsin.
is that,
maybe?
yeah,
Is that
so
right?
it's not far from here.
No.
But yeah, it's come up multiple times. I've heard on XM radio, and they actually did. There was one. I was driving to Colorado and was listening to 80s. I was listening to Lithium, the 90s grunge channel, and they were doing just bands that recorded there at
that's
Pachyderm.
cool.
So
Well, you got to hear Nirvana.
yeah, a lot of Nirvana.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So that seems to me, I mean, very different genres,
Yeah.
but that just seems like
It's a lot.
Give us one or two.
Yeah.
Maybe just one or two.
God, there were so many good ones though.
It kind of reminds you of just how much music came out of the Midwest. I mean, just in general.
Yeah.
I think, there's got to be something to the fact, like we always talk about these breweries and people like they got to stay inside.
Yeah.
Right? It's too cold. Come on. These guys had to stay inside and be the best musicians in the world.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right? I don't know.
I'll tell you, Sunvolt. Look that up. You won't be disappointed.
I mean, that was the band that some of the guys split and started Wilco, and because it was Uncle Tupelo, and then they did that fracture, and then some guys went here and some guys went there, and luckily we get them both.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go check that catalog out. It's not bad at all.
And then that one guy, Bob Dylan. Check him out. If you haven't heard him, check him out.
I told you, I'm still on my Bob Dylan kick.
He's got a lot of songs.
Man, a ton. Like you can't start a playlist and finish it. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for one, I got a couple Bob Dylan playlists.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do. So, all right,
That's it. That's all I
That's
got.
it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go. TripAdvisor. I got some fun ones in here.
Oh, great.
There's some there's some Karens and Kevins up there.
Oh, no.
And Kevin's.
It's Kevin, right? I don't even know. There's definitely some Karens.
I thought it was
up there.
Kyle. Isn't Kyle the one
He's the one that punches the drywall.
he punches the drywall and drinks Monster?
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
you're talking
Yeah, that's
Kyle.
a Kyle.
That's a Kyle.
about. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. 844 reviews. 4.5 out of 5 on 844 reviews.
Okay.
So that's not too bad. But Sassy Jana, she didn't like it too
Oh,
much.
boy. Not our Jana, right?
Not Jana. No.
Okay.
She said she rated it a 1. It was terrible.
Oh, boy.
Terrible.
Let's hear it. Too many people at the brewery.
Couldn't get in. How'd you know? Couldn't get in. Tried to go on a Saturday night. There had to be at least 10,000 people there.
10,000.
Pouring
That's a
rain
lot.
and nowhere to park. 3-hour wait to sit down and eat in what looks like a barn. No thank you. We turned around and promptly left.
Oh, wow.
She
Get outta
probably
here.
came on. What is it? You just talked about it. The day, the release day of the.
Yeah, on Darkness Day.
Or she
Darkness
just went
Day,
on
there
a
you go.
Saturday and they didn't let her write in and hurt her ego.
Exactly.
I don't like that person. Sorry, Jana.
I mean, clearly, you don't know who Surly is, right? You don't know anything about them. You don't know. You probably shouldn't go on a
You
Saturday.
shouldn't rate them if you can't. If you never even tried anything, get
Yeah.
out of here.
It has nothing to do with your food, beer, or anything else. It's just that it was so fucking busy that day.
Yep.
Because the place is so awesome.
Yeah.
She's
Oh,
pissed
I
off.
thought it was awful.
I was
according
just
to
gonna
Jana.
say, like,
Yeah.
well, if it was awful, there would be nobody
Yeah,
there.
there'd be some
Right.
crickets
Yeah.
chirping.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, boo. Get out of here. Go to
Right.
Summit. They'll take your money. I don't even know if they're still around, but that was one of the Minnesota breweries we used to get here.
Was it? I don't know.
Yeah, back in the 2010s, we used to get some of their stuff here.
I don't know if I could name you another Minnesota, like a Minneapolis brewery itself. I don't know. I don't
There's
know.
I've been to a couple.
There's got to be
but
like a Twin City Brewing, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure, there's got to something like
there
that.
has to be something.
Yeah. All right, Untapped. 4,400 check-ins on the Oktoberfest. So,
Ooh.
which leads me to believe that maybe
This is
this is
new.
the first time canning. Maybe I don't know.
I bet if we looked on Untapped, we could see when it first was checked in.
Possibly. Yeah.
Because I have this, I brought it today because I like to use it for my Oktoberfest, and it's my Surly Fest,
Yeah.
Mug.
which I think that was the beer what it used to be called, just straight Surly
Surly
Fest.
Fest.
I
Okay.
feel like this is a different beer than it is different than what I've had before.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I like this a
I do too.
lot.
It's real
why-
clear. I mean, I can see right through yours.
So I went back for another one.
Yeah, kind of wishing I would have done that. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
It's really.
There's a whole 12-pack.
I was gonna say there's more to go around.
Plenty.
let's get it.
So
Yeah.
4,400 check-ins. Where do you think we land?
4,400 check-ins.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with 392.
I'm going to go with the year Prince's best album came out, which I think was 84, so 3.84.
3.71.
Oh.
I think you were right. Purple Rain came out in 84.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This would be an easy 425 for me. I really like it a lot.
It's so good.
I do 4.5, maybe 4.75, quite honestly. I mean, Yeah, as Oktoberfest go, I mean that's mainstream Oktoberfest. So I wrote this down too, like on their website. It says our Oktoberfest lager is rich, malty, and sweet up front with a clean, dry finish and just the slightest touch of hops. It makes for an ideal beer if you're all drindled up or choosing to prost alone. It's available to all Surly markets as you read this. Don't fest without it.
I wonder what drindled means.
Drindled.
I don't know. Sounds
Some German.
sounds
Drindled.
like it dressed up maybe for Oktoberfest.
No.
Lederhosens and whatnot. Wow.
So, there
that
we
was
go.
good. I'm glad. I want to go right there right now. That
Yes.
place is a lot of fun.
I would totally do that. Yeah. Here,
Minnesota meet and greet.
let's do it.
Dude,
Let's go.
you could totally host it there, and you might not see anybody the whole night because there's so much stuff to do.
Yes.
Right.
Well, if you get in, I mean, there could be over
Oh,
10,000.
Oh, yeah.
You
10,000.
tag Jana along.
10,000. Sassy Jana has something to say about that.
Get out of here.
All right, this is only week 1 of Oktoberfest. We got 3 more weeks to go. Brian, next week, is bringing us a beer from just down the street in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yes, I am.
And I've
Something-
never had it.
No, we've never even had one of these beers
No.
either. So we're going deep cuts
Awesome.
this year.
I love it. All right. So in the meantime, we're not going anywhere for a while.
Let's have another beer. Pop pop.
Thank you for listening to A Beer with Atlas. Special thanks to our brand team for producing the show. Each episode of A Beer with Atlas is powered by Atlas MedStaff, an industry leader in travel healthcare staffing.